Hola! The stratagem developed by the puppeteers goes well beyond an epidemic intended to vaccinate the world population. It is a holdup of consciousness. It is about blocking the attention of human consciousness away from anything that would allow the awakening and the connection to the true self, the soul. For the full video in French, watch Frédéric Burri. Hola, from Colombia. With the present great world confusion, I wish to do my part to accelerate the evolution of human consciousness. Please help by subscribing and sharing these videos. Thank you. It is important not to reject outright the idea that conspiracies exist. Let's look at Plato's allegory of the cave. This metaphor features prisoners chained to the bottom of a cave, captivated by shadows created by occult characters, the puppeteers. Almost all human beings at this end of the cycle are similar to those prisoners in Plato's cave. Their chains, like their prisons, are not physical, they are mental. They are hypnotized, their attention is diverted, and therefore the hypnosis does not allow them to free themselves from their chains, to come out of the cave, to know the reality, and to make the connection to their true self. This allegory of the cave presents a timeless symbolism. It can help us understand how our current world works. These puppeteers are in the tiny minority, but their very small number is inversely proportional to their capacity to harm life in all its forms. They are at the command of all infrastructures, world organizations, NGOs, financial, political, and media institutions, large multinationals, the entertainment industry, traditional religions, and initiatic organizations. They have all been infiltrated and perverted by these people without faith or law. They see themselves as a race apart, genetically superior to humanity. The existence of conspirators, those who conspire, has been a reality in this world for millennia. They have always existed, and at this end of the cycle is undoubtedly the one where their hold is the strongest, contrary to what their servants try to make us believe by making fun of the conspiracy. It is necessary to exercise discernment and be vigilant in relation to oneself, because the lying mind, which is the ego of each person, twists reality to make it correspond to its truth, to validate its system of beliefs, and thus reinforce the identity structure of the ego. As Goethe said, there is no worse slave than one who thinks he is free without being so. We must be interested in the fundamental resource of the human being, which is the attention of consciousness. Let's look at a concrete example with two individuals. The first puts his attention for hours on the media, both mainstream and alternative. He is dissociated from the present moment in a state of hypnotic absorption. The second individual aspires to become a sage. He is aware of the futility of this negative information and does not devote his attention to it. He prefers to focus his attention on the present moment. With his attention focused on that which is useful, he elevates his level of consciousness and centers himself in stillness, love, joy, and most importantly, detachment. The two individuals have both directed their attention in radically different directions, creating totally different consequences. The attention of the first individual keeps him in very low vibrations, while the attention of the second one elevates him to very high vibrations. Without knowing it, the first individual serves by default the interests of the puppeteers, strengthening their hold on this world, while the second creates a loss of all control over him, while effectively counterbalancing their power without even using weapons to fight them. Attention is a priceless human resource. The puppeteers know this. They know that the mastery of attention directed in a just, useful way can set the slave free from his shackles. They must capture the attention of the human consciousness, process it and channel it in a direction opposite to anything that might allow awakening and connecting with the true self, the soul. Herein lies the strategy of the puppeteers. Simple, but devilishly effective. As long as attention is maintained in this great fool's game, it is not directed where it should be, to truly participate in the liberation and harmonization of the living. This is the great illusion. This is what's happening today, both for people subjected to the system and for those who see clearly and rebelling or trying to expose the plot. Everyone is looking in the same direction, focusing their attention on the epidemic, the vaccine, natural disasters, but also on the whistleblowers and their more or less reliable revelations. This is the real holdup of the puppeteers, the holdup of the attention of consciousness. As the sages have taught us for millennia, whoever wants to save the world must first save himself. 2,600 years ago, the Buddha said, with our thoughts, we create the world. We live in a vibratory universe, and the energy we emit is the key to our creative power. By connecting to our true self, we move our attention away from this great theater of the absurd. Their ultimate plan is to deny human beings any possibility of connecting to their own conscience. Unfortunately, this is taking shape before our eyes with artificial intelligence, already well established in our lives, and the transhumanist ideology is gaining ground. It is therefore important to understand what is at stake for this pseudo-elite. Total control of human consciousness to make it impossible to direct attention to anything other than a single system of thought, making the human being a vulgar, pre-programmed robot. Let's stop participating in their fool's game before the point of no return is reached and it's too late. The only solution is very simple. I must connect to my true self, my soul. Easy to say, not at all easy to do. Please go into action now and make the choice between listening to your ego-mendacious mind and the external authorities, or listening to your soul, the internal authority. I consult and offer tools so that you can find your individual solution by making contact with your soul. You can then evolve in consciousness more effectively. Infinite love.